Okay, that's and of course you should shift this into all the other keys. And if you were working on, if you're working in D, or in, work in all the keys and get your fingers used to it. And when you got just the 1 and 5 solid, but first then you can start and try and add some right hand comping to it. It'll be difficult, but no, nonetheless. And of course you can use the right hand to throw in the ghost notes, and probably most of you heard that as soon as I throw in the right hand, my control of the left hand is not as good. But I think that comes from, in my case, all the years of bass playing and the way my brain is set up. But there is only one way to get around it, and that is spelled practice. So let's take a look at some walking bass lines or walking bass line patterns that you can do and build your repertoire of patterns. And patterns you should steal from bass players. My absolute favorite double bass player of all times is a Danish guy called Niels Henning Ørsted Pedersen. I recommend you all to listen to him. He died a couple of years ago, unfortunately, but there is none like him to put out a rock solid swinging jazz bass line. His technique was phenomenal. He could outplay most guitar players, but still when playing solid bass, it was solid. Listen to his work with Oscar Peterson and Joe Pass, and there's some fantastic duets with Joe Pass and Niels Henning that you could listen to. Now on to playing jazz bass lines. So on the bass, I would probably, if it was a standard jazz bass, I would play something like 1, 2, 3, 4. What would I do on the organ? Probably something like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's pretty similar. I think I normally think the same way on the organ as I do on the bass. So let's break this down. On the first part, leading where you go from the C7 to the F7, you have got some possibilities. You can start on the 1 low and go 1, 2, minor 3, 3, 4. 1, 2, minor 3, 3, 4. Or bass playing, everything in bass playing is about where you are, where you came from, and where you're gonna go next. What's the next major musical milestone, and find a good, interesting path and connect between those two. And also it's about driving the music forward. So strong leading lines and solid rhythm, especially in jazz, you're the guy that drives the whole band, so keep the drive up. It's better to be ahead than behind in jazz, but watch out so that the drummer doesn't get carried away and you end up in 240 BPMs. If you want to play a descending bass line, I would probably play so that's 1, flat 7, 6, 5, 4. 1, flat 7, 6, 5, 4. Going from the 4, you can go either ascending or descending. So if I want to go down, I will go, so that's 4, flat 3, 2, flat 2, 1. 4, flat 3, 2, flat 2, 1. If I was going up, it would be 4, 6, flat 7, 7, 1. 4, 6, flat 7, 7, 1. If you want to think about this in the number system and always relate to the key you're in, or if you in your mind actually shift the number system depending on what chord you are on, that's up to you. Ideally, these blocks you should have them in your mind as blocks, and then what you actually do is you chain the blocks together. If you have a longer run, since this was the first part of the jazz blues, which is 1 bar C, 1 bar F, now we come to the 2 bars of C. So now you got a longer period that you stay on the C. It starts now. I would probably play this is a combination of a longer line and 2 leading notes. Being on the C, you can play